Look, the reality is HR doesn't always get it right. And thank you to Reddit. Let's talk about some of the times that HR got it so very wrong and what my suggestion would have been to do it the right way. So here's a Reddit that I'm going to read from a couple years ago. I'm just going to read it to you and then we'll talk about it. So here we go. I was yelled at by my manager who had a history of unfair treatment and had been directly bullying me. She raised her voice at me to an inappropriate level in front of customers for daring to follow the posted break schedule instead of making my coworker wait an extra half an hour to take his scheduled break, as if it was something she had communicated prior, which she had not. I brought it up to the GM, and the next day I was called into a phone meeting with HR who harassed me for insubordination and said verbatim, if one manager wants you to write with a purple pen while they're around and another manager wants you to write in blue, you need to shut up and do as they say. End quote. And then she called me low man on the totem pole, which is somehow culturally offensive as well as misgendering. I quit right there. No amount of money is worth verbal abuse and inconsistent management. Y'all, my fellow HR people, we have failed in this moment. Like, way failed. So, first of all, I don't know what state this took place in, but if it's a state like, say, California, for example, where there's very specific rules about how breaks have to be handled, y'all, we got to follow it. Like, the law is the law, we got to follow it. But I have a real serious issue, and I agree with the poster on this one that walking out and quitting was absolutely the right move to make. Like, hello, why are we treating people like this? If one manager wants you to write in purple and another one in blue, what? What? That is utterly ridiculous, my fellow HR people. What are we even doing? So, if you were a business that didn't have HR people and you had a situation like this, say you're the owner of the company, and someone comes to you and says, hey, my supervisor is less than fantastic. We had a little moment over the break schedule, and I'd like to talk to you about it. Hear me when I say that the absolute worst thing that you can do in that moment is to make the complaining employee feel small. It's the absolute worst thing you can do in that moment. Why? Because when you make someone feel small, what you're really telling them is, I want you to sue me. Like, that's what it feels like from an HR perspective. You're just inviting drama, you're inviting lawsuits, you're inviting expense that you don't need in your business. Look, not every human is fantastic. I wish they were, but not every human is fantastic. But what we do have to realize is when we are working with people is that they are people. They are not machines and they do have feelings. And it is critically important to communicate with those around you, whether they are above you, equal to you, or below you on the so-called totem pole, which please, by the way, never use that phrase again because, oh, yeah, it is culturally inappropriate in today's environment to use that word. But we can't assume that people can read our minds. We can't assume that just because we suggested that we should, that somebody knows to actually do it. We need to clearly and entirely communicate what it is that we want or what it is that we need. We do that as leaders. We also do that as employees. If we need something, we need to communicate it. But we can't be making these kind of BS comments to people like, you'll do what you're told and shut up. No, no. Because here's what happens over the long term. So let's say this person didn't quit, okay? Which, again, quitting was the right thing. But let's say in this moment that they didn't quit. So what happens long term when someone who's been treated like this doesn't speak up anymore? Because they did it once and they got treated terribly, but they need the money, so they don't quit. So now what? Now what does it look like? Well, now not only do you have someone in a potential leadership or supervisory role who is disengaged and just no longer cares, you also have that negativity and that feeling, as much as that employee may never speak of what happened to others, but they don't have to. They don't have to share their experience because that attitude, when they disengage, that attitude is contagious and it starts to spread among others. Well, if that person doesn't give a crap, well, I don't give a crap either, because clearly giving a crap's not required around here to get paid. And in a matter of hours, not even days, not even weeks, in a matter of hours, The company can begin to lose money because what happens when employees disengage and no longer care? Who picks up on that? Your customer picks up on that. And when your customer picks up that none of your employees give a crap, they go to the competitor who has better service than you do, and they don't come back. So for everybody saying there's no place in HR, there's no place for HR, HR is there to protect the company. Yes, some HR people do that. I don't. I'm far more interested in finding ways for everybody to work together to create an environment that we can all live in. Because we do spend a lot of time at work. If you worked solely 40 hours a week, which most people don't, but most people work more than that. But let's say you were just working 40 hours a week. That's a little less than a third of your life that you're going to spend in work. That's a lot of time to be miserable. And again, that misery translates into your P&L owners. So for those of you who are saying it doesn't matter, I don't care if they're miserable, your bank account cares. And you care about your bank account. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to think about it a little different, to reorient how we think at things. And please never tell somebody to do what they're told and shut up, because, oh, and it's great material, especially if it got recorded. It's great material for unemployment claims and lawsuits. Knock that off. Do you have other questions? Do you have other situations that you've been in that you want to get HR's perspective on? Feel free to drop a comment, shoot me a message, whatever way you prefer. Let's talk about it. I'm here to help you, whether you as an employee, you as an owner, you as a manager, doesn't matter. I'm here to do what I can to help you. Do me a favor when you submit those, please include the state that you're located in because that matters massively. All right. I'm Lindsay with North Star HR. Make sure you subscribe to this channel.